Hello again. I've introduced myself to you as Greg Deuble, and as the author of the book They Never Told Me This in Church. And in this particular session I'd like to address the issues in the book and its story a little bit better for you, so that you can be a bit better acquainted. In case you are thinking of buying it and reading it, it'll just give you a little bit of an idea and insight. They Never Told Me This in Church, as I mentioned, was quite a costly journey for me. To nail, as it were, my colours to the mast and say to all the world, look, I've come to this wonderful and liberating understanding of who God is and who his son Jesus is as well. They Never Told Me This in Church, as I also mentioned earlier, was initially retailed and sold by Australia's probably best known Christian outlet chains, Christian bookstore outlets. And for 2 years they did sell it, and we had many wonderful experiences from people who had purchased the book. In the introduction to the second edition, I give the story that warms my heart in particular, about a Christian pastor who had been ministering full-time for over 50 years within Australian churches in his particular denomination, and he had also been a well-known author and a world-travelled evangelist, so he was no small fry in the sea. He has had a very large, impactful Christian ministry as a pastor. And on this particular day, towards the end of the period when this major Christian outlet was going to withdraw my books, he walked through the shelves in the last days when that opportunity was there, and he felt strangely impressed upon his heart as he walked out the door to turn back and look at a particular shelf. And there he saw my book, and he somehow again felt impressed in his heart, no doubt by the Spirit of God, that he had to purchase the book, which he did. Took it home, and as they say, the rest is history, because the book completely revolutionized his whole understanding as to what the Bible's testimony is concerning this critical matter as to God's own identity. One of my own greatly loved uncles, also, who had been immersed for many, many years as a Roman Catholic, but had recently attended Protestant churches with his wife of many years. He also, as he read the book recently published, kept ringing me up all of the time and saying, Greg, the fog is disappearing. This is amazing. I cannot believe how wonderful and liberating and how simple really this message is, but it's changing my life. And I could tell you literally dozens and dozens of stories in the same way from people who've read these truths around the world. Wonderfully supporting of this, of course, as a whole host of others. I'm not just alone on this. I'm not just a lone ranger with Tonto perhaps, but there are many who are in this tradition. Sir Anthony Buzzard is the one particularly mentioned in the book that I've already talked about with my encounter with him initially, who started me along this journey. These are people who have wonderful academic credentials, fine linguists and biblical scholars, who endorse and who bring to us a wonderful long tradition throughout the many generations and centuries from Christ onwards. A story little told, a story little known, but there have always been many people who have believed this. But with the power of human tradition and the establishment, and particularly, of course, the church in Rome, we have found a concerted effort to bind and to blind from the people these great truths. We have a lot of church speak, a lot of Greek philosophy, a lot of communication that really is quite misleading, and so we're trying to dispel the fog, as my uncle said, and to bring people to a wonderful understanding in their walk of faith with God. Now the book itself, as you'll notice, is divided up into a number of similar type chapters, each starting with the word another. Another cover-up, another world, another God, another Lord, another Jesus, another Spirit, another hope, another gospel. And once you come to these truths, you'll find your whole understanding and paradigm on a lot of issues will be changed. So the book itself I recommend to you. The way I came to write it, as I say, was a matter of heart conviction, and I send it out with the understanding and the knowledge that it has already impacted many lives, and we've been blessed by their testimonies. So I hope that you can read the book and enjoy its contents.